Thanks for joining us on this edition of Business Daily. Coming to you live from Seoul, I'm Lee Ji-yoon. Before we get started, let's see what we have lined up for you in the latter half of our program. Do you go with the name brand or the private label? More consumers in Korea are going for the latter as more retailers are pushing out greater options with a lighter price tag. With the Daum Kakao's taxi service doing quite well, the company is looking into the option of offering a different service of substitute driving as well. But not everyone is welcoming this option. Finance Minister Choi Kyung-hwan has warned of tough times ahead for Korea's young job seekers as he urged the state-run companies to swiftly implement the wage peak system. He said that job seekers in their 20s and 30s will face a so-called employment ice age in the next several years, as an influx of university graduates from classes with some of the highest college entrance rates are pouring into the job market. The minister emphasized that large public firms like Korail and Korea Land and Housing Corporation must take the lead and adopt the wage peak system by August. The government anticipates that this system will help create 8,000 new jobs over a 2-year period if all state corporations take part. The wage peak system aims to gradually lower the earnings of workers nearing retirement age to direct more resources in hiring young workers. Business conditions for Korea's manufacturers are still looking grim these days. Global research firm Market Economics says that Korea's Purchasing Managers Index came to 47.6 in July. Now, that's only a slight pickup from last month when the index marked its lowest figure since September 2012. A figure below 50 means the manufacturing sector is contracting, and Market added that output in this field has been declining because of fewer new orders, which in turn lowered employment in the sector. Korea ranked 24th among 28 countries surveyed, followed by Thailand, Indonesia, Greece, and Brazil. Korea's foreign exchange reserves fell for the first time in 6 months in July. The Bank of Korea says the country's reserves stood at $370.8 billion as of the end of July, down nearly $4 billion on month. The central bank says the slump is due to the stronger dollar, which lowered the conversion value of non-dollar currencies. Last month, the Australian dollar fell 5% against the greenback, while the euro slipped to 2.5%, and the pound depreciated about 1%. Korea was the 6th largest holder of foreign reserves as of the end of June. China topped the list, followed by Japan and Saudi Arabia. The Korean government is vowing to launch an investigation into Lotte Group to find the answers to questions that have long swirled around its murky corporate governance structure. Now, this comes as the retail giant struggles with intense bickering among the members of the founding family over who will lead the group. Our Shin Se-min has this report.
It's no longer a family issue. The battle for control of Lotte Group among its founding family members has attracted some unwanted attention from the government and the ruling Saenuri Party. Together, they're looking to devise reforms that will do away with the outdated corporate governance structure that has allowed the founding family to dominate the entire group. The management structure has long been an object of mystery in Korea, but it's possible some of the questions about it could soon be put to rest. Korea's Fair Trade Commission announced Wednesday that it will review the shareholding structures of Kwanghyunsa Corporation and Lotte Holdings, the Japanese firms at the heart of the questions about the group's corporate governance structure. The FTC said it has already asked Lotte Group for related information. Breaking it down, Lotte Holdings dominates the entire group, and its shares are held through cross-shareholding agreements. But that company, in turn, is under the control of an unlisted firm, Kwanghyunsa Corporation, which has the largest stake in Lotte Holdings at more than 27%. So that means the metaphorical head of the group, Lotte Holdings, which holds the most shares in Lotte Group, is based in Japan, while the body, Lotte Hotel and other Lotte affiliates, is in Korea. But the details surrounding the dominating firms are unclear. Under Japanese law, neither Kwanghyunsa Corporation nor Lotte Holdings have to reveal their shareholder lists. The founder of the group, Shin Gyuk-ho, is believed to have a major stake in Kwang-Yunsa Corporation and may have passed some of his shares on to his two sons. But remember, Kwang-Yunsa is not listed on the stock market, making it hard to know who owns what and how much they've got. Shin Se-min, Business Daily.
Korea's financial watchdog has exposed an increased number of reported unfair trading practices in the capital market in the first half of this year, compared to the same time last year. According to the Financial Supervisory Service, a total of 82 cases were uncovered, up nearly 37% on year. The financial watchdog said while overall illegal transactions in the securities market went down by over 20%, specifically on the tech-heavy Kosdaq and derivatives market, the numbers surged. It said out of the 69 cases investigated so far, 36 have been handed over to prosecutors, mostly for the use of undisclosed information, followed by price manipulation and the wrongful disclosure of shares. Wine imports have surpassed spirits for the first time in terms of half-year shipments, accounting for nearly a quarter of all alcohol imports from January to June. Korea International Trade Association said roughly $94.4 million worth of wine was brought into Korea, up 5.5% on year, slightly ahead of hard liquor. Spirits like whiskey and brandy once took up almost two-thirds of all alcohol imports, but the growing appetite for lighter drinks due to health concerns and a change in drinking culture has led to an increase in demand for wine for the past 6 years. Well, Daum Kakao's inroad into taxi service has done quite well, and now the company is considering offering substitute driving service as well. But as you can imagine, this is arousing quite a response from existing companies. Our Eunice Kim tells us more.
A crowd of hundreds is gathered in front of the headquarters of Daum Kakao to oppose the company's feared entry into their industry. 대리운전, or roughly translated, substitute driving. It's an estimated $3.4 billion industry that picks up customers to drop them and their vehicle home when they're less than fit to get behind the wheel.
It would be ridiculous if Kakao, using their well-established infrastructure, took away our market and our livelihood from us.
They say the local designated driving sector is made up of 8,000 small businesses, responsible for more than 100,000 workers who would struggle to stand up against a large company like Daum Kakao. Korea's largest mobile messaging operator saw its foray into taxi service, Kakao Taxi, received with enthusiasm, attracting more than 3 million customers since launching in March, with nearly half of the country's cab drivers participating. Daum Kakao, in a regulatory filing, had indicated it was considering expanding into same-day delivery and driver services. But officially, it maintains nothing set in stone.
Since we have not yet decided whether we will or will not jump into the substitute driving service, it's difficult to announce our stance on the issue.
Meanwhile, there is a group of smaller individual drivers who say they would welcome the change, saying it would help reduce what they called company abuses, like demanding high commission fees. Eunice Kim, Business Daily.
And now let's take a look at how the markets fared here in Seoul today. Seoul shares closed nearly flat on this Wednesday as investors were disheartened by expectations that the U.S. Federal Reserve might raise its funds rate in September. At the closing bell, the benchmark Kospi edged up 0.09%, finishing the day at 2029.76. While the tech-heavy Kosdaq also went up by 1.54% to end at 741.26. On the foreign exchange counter, the Korean currency lost ground against the greenback, ending at 1,173.6 won. Low economic growth and feeble domestic consumption leaves no areas untouched, including day-to-day grocery shopping. Now, that's one of the reasons why private labels, referred to as private brands or simply PB products, are becoming more popular. And to tell us more about this, we're now joined by our Kwon Soa in the studio. Hello, Soa.
Hi, Jiyoon. Now, let me begin with a question today.
Okay.
When it comes to grocery shopping, what do you prefer? Do you always go with the name brands just to be sure and you know what you're getting? Or do you also take the risk for cheaper prices?
Well, it depends on the product that I'm getting. Usually I have the stuff that I always get, then I don't really care about the price. But then if it's something that I'm getting it for the first time, then I usually look for the cheaper prices.
Right, similar with me too. And I mean, of course, it is impossible to get the highest quality for the cheapest prices.
Right.
But Korea's retailers are trying to get as close as possible with their increased lineup of PB products and new marketing strategies. So let's see how Korea's big box stores are appealing to their customers. And it's no longer just about the price.
Be it snacks, water, and even Korea's favorite instant noodles, ramyeon. Similar from the outside, or how they are packed, similar from the inside and how they taste, but definitely not similar on the wallet. These PB or private brand products in some cases can be bought for less than half the price of their name brand counterparts. Major retailers have been continuously expanding their self-developed goods as they're gaining more popularity.
It's great for customers, since the PB products come in a big variety and are affordable.
But how does this affect the bottom line for supermarkets? It doesn't require any extra marketing or advertising, but continued demand adds to their revenue, making them the biggest beneficiaries. And thanks to a boost in their profits and growing brand awareness, small and mid-sized companies who often manufacture these generic brands benefit a lot too. For average customers, it not only cuts back on the bill, but also gives them more choices.
I buy a lot of PB products ranging from food to daily necessities. I don't feel any big difference in terms of quality.
In the past, the greatest issue of concern was the image of poor quality PB products, but that seems to have changed over the years, evident in how much room they now take up on the shelves of Korea's top 3 supermarket chains. In fact, E-Mart, which released its first PB milk back in 1997, roughly tripled the number of goods in the last decade. Its first quarter sales rose by 1.1% on year. This is mainly attributed to its hit private label Peacock, launched 2 years ago, that focuses on high quality, adding a premium image to conventional PB products. Lotte Mart also unleashed a new strategy, adding different price tiers. Choice L for the cheaper goods and Save L for even cheaper ones, while higher quality items come with the label Prime L. Home Plus has seen similar growth in the industry. Its vitamin series, launched in March, accounted for 3% of all vitamin products in its first month of release, but in July, that surpassed 10%. Another popular item is its newest lineup of potato chips, including one with the immensely popular honey butter flavor. This sweet savory snack is one example of so-called Me Too products, which have received a fair share of criticism due to the extreme resemblance they have with the original brands.
I look at the pictures, they look similar, so I don't really care about the names.
If PB brands had put more weight on benchmarking products from big-name companies, we are now putting more effort on developing our own original products, working hand-in-hand with SMEs.
Me Too products have also led to trademark battles, raising the need for stronger measures from the government and self-regulation from retailers.
What's most important is that the distributors and manufacturers grow mutually. This is why, along with PB products, P&B products are beginning to show up, in which the retailers and producer develop their products together, and the manufacturer becomes the owner of the trademark right.
Experts say there's plenty of room to grow the private brand business. And with the right strategies, it can become a win-win situation for everyone involved.
All right, so that's good to hear that there's plenty of room for expansion, but compared to other countries where private labels or private products are pretty big, how does the Korean market compare?
It's not that big, actually. According to global researcher Nielsen, Korea's PB products accounted for just 4% of all domestic products, while the global average stood at 16.5%. And self-developed products at giant retailers like American Walmart, British Tesco, and German Aldi make up 40 to 50%. So that is quite a big
that's
difference.
a lot. Yes. Well, but if Korea's PB brands expand, will they stay in domestic markets, or do you think they will look to expand abroad?
Actually, Yoon, some of them are already exporting their products, and an example would be Home Plus, which has an agreement with China's biggest retailer, China Resource Vanguard, to supply their stores with around 150 Korean PB items from 48 companies, and that's worth $1 million. And they especially aim to appeal with very typical Korean items such as dried seaweed.
So this could contribute to Korea's food boom abroad, I guess.
Let's hope so, yes.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in today, Soa.
Thank you.
All right. That does it for me. Thank you so much for staying with us throughout our program. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time, same place. So don't forget to tune in then. Have a great day, everyone.